Hey guys, I wanted to let you guys know that after this video, I'll be live streaming on Twitch. The link is in the description down below. It's kind of important to me that you guys come through over there because, well, now that we're quarantined, I do want a way to still chill with you guys. I do want a way to still talk to you guys, and I definitely want to hear some of you guys' video suggestions. And you know, some of you guys want to give me your opinions on specific topics, but it gets buried in my comment section. And typically in my Twitch streams, I only have like 20 to 30 people coming through. So if you ever want to have your voice definitely be heard, this is the best way to reach me. I'm going to leave a link to it in the description down below, and let's get started on today's video. Okay guys, this is really sucky. I don't know how else to say it, and I really hope I'm wrong because this is by far the worst video I've had to make probably since the Kobe Bryant video that I made that is no longer on my channel because I hated that video so much. And it has to do with whether the NBA regular season will resume. So last night, I know some of you guys are too old for TikTok, but you know, now that we're in a quarantine, I did make a TikTok on this and it's on my account if you guys want to go check it out. I literally sat down and I realized, wow, we were in the midst of one of the greatest NBA regular seasons of all time. Like, literally sit down and think about the storylines. Like, Ja Morant was killing it for the Memphis Grizzlies. They were beginning to turn themselves around. Zion Williamson finally came back, and guess what? He lived up to the hype. And, you know, Get Like Coop, my buddy, and I were talking on stream last night, and we were literally discussing about how great the New Orleans Pelicans were. Brandon Ingram's like averaging 25 points per game. Derek Favors is one of the most underrated players in the entire NBA. Drew Holiday and Zion Williamson worked together very well alongside each other, but even furthermore, Lonzo Ball was beginning to fulfill his potential on that team. But that's not it. If you look at the West, the top of the West, the Utah Jazz were finally becoming competitive after a mid-season trade for Jordan Clarkson. The Los Angeles Lakers finally, and bear in mind, I'm a die-hard Laker fan, the Los Angeles Lakers, after 6 agonizing years, 7 if you want to talk about, if you consider the 2012 season to also be a bust, because, again, Kobe Bryant did injure himself. I'm talking about the season where they got Dwight Howard. Kobe Bryant did get injured that year. That was a terrible season for Laker fans as well. But the Lakers finally became relevant again. We were watching Anthony Davis and LeBron James literally make poetry in motion, playing an old school brand of basketball while integrating new NBA concepts such as spacing the floor. It was wonderful. Like, I literally saw Anthony Davis go to work in the post. And furthermore, I think probably my favorite part of the entire NBA season is the East was getting more competitive. Giannis Antetokounmpo was beginning his reign of dominance in the East, and the Los Angeles Lakers and the Los Angeles Clippers, at long last, finally became a rivalry. The Oklahoma City Thunder traded away Russell Westbrook and Paul George, brought in Chris Paul, and they maintained the same record. There's just so much awesomeness that was going on in this entire NBA regular season, and now it's been suspended. And over time, I've been providing you guys some updates, and for the most part, the updates were fairly positive. Literally, not this past video, but the video before, I discussed a way for the NBA to resume, where they would be playing games in Las Vegas, but it would be for no crowd. It'd be kind of like how wrestling games are going right now, but at least this way, we would be able to conclude the season and crown a NBA champion. And believe me, man, I've been dreaming about LeBron James holding up a trophy and saying, Kobe Bryant, this one's for you, after he defeated whoever he defeated in the NBA Finals. And maybe Clipper fans were dreaming of spoiling that for LeBron James because they believe Kawhi Leonard could completely dominate LeBron James. But it doesn't matter. We can't even discuss those things anymore because there might not be a NBA season. So this is according to Brian Windhorst of ESPN, and I posted something onto my Instagram in regards to it. So if you guys want to go and leave your comments on that, I'll let you could go to the comment section down below. Now, you have to bear in mind there is a lot of complex things that have to be solved prior to us even discussing the NBA potentially shutting down its entire season. For example, there are basketball players that have to take pay cuts. There are employees that might have have to get paid somehow, that can't afford the pay cut. Furthermore, the NBA is probably going to lose a lot of revenue, and at the same time, you have to kind of tip your hat off to the NBA for making such a difficult decision, as much as it sucks, for the greater good of humanity. But according to Brian Windhorst of ESPN, there is a significant amount of pessimism that the NBA will restart this season. The talks are, and this is to quote Brian Windhorst, he says, the talks between the players union and the league this week, and I've talked to both sides about this issue, and it is clear that the NBA is angling to set up a deal that enables them to shut the season down. And this is during an appearance Windhorst had on SportsCenter. Now, Windhorst also says this, and this may make you feel a little bit better. Now, they don't have to do that yet, and the way they're negotiating, they're leaving themselves an option either way. But they're not having talks about how to restart the league. They're having financial talks about what would happen if the season shuts down. And I think there is a significant amount of pessimism right now. And Windhorst also pointed out and talked about the Chinese league, because the Chinese league has been dealing with what we're dealing with for a significantly longer period of time. And this is kind of what backs up what Windhorst is saying. If you pay attention to the Chinese Basketball Association delaying their season, it kind of is like what the NBA is going to have to deal with. And this is because there's a potential second wave of positive COVID tests in the country caused by asymptomatic carriers. And the Chinese Basketball Association delayed the start of their season earlier this week. Brian Windhorst continued by saying that it's been a bad week. I think there was optimism about progress a week ago, and yes, there was. I literally made a video about it. If you guys want to go take a look at it, I'll leave a link to it in the description down below. Some things that have happened this week have turned it south about what could happen. A big factor was what happened in China, where they halted the return of their league. Now, there is some hope over here, and believe it or not, this is probably going to be the first of two videos that you guys are going to be getting from me today, because we also got a report, and this meeting is actually going on as I'm making this video, that Adam Silver, Rob Manfred, which is the commissioner of the MLB, Gary Bettman, which is the commissioner of the NHL, Kathy Engelbert, the commissioner of the WNBA, Jay Monahan, the golf commissioner, and Dana White, the UFC commissioner, and Vince McMahon, who's the commissioner of the WWE and the owner of the XFL, John Middlebrook, or Jim France, which is NASCAR, and Don Garber, which is the MLS, are going to all be involved in a phone call with Donald Trump. Oh, also Roger Goodell, which is the commissioner of the NFL. And there's going to be a report coming back to us literally within the next couple of hours. They're in the middle of this call as I am making this video. And okay, guys, I was actually very pessimistic at first. We got the report back and we heard what they were talking about. And at first, I thought that the NBA season might get canceled as a result of this. We still don't really have answers about how Adam Silver wants to continue. But all we do know is in a conference call with all the major sports commissioners so far, and this is according to Adam Schefter and Adrian Wojnarowski, Donald Trump told the NFL and told Roger Goodell that he believes the NFL season should start on time in September. Now, he also went ahead and said that he hopes to have fans in stadiums and arenas by August and September, though it's currently unclear if medical experts find that to be a realistic timeline amid the current pandemic. And that is pretty much what we are hoping for. Furthermore, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver told those on the Trump conference call that the leagues were the first to shut down and that they would love to lead the way in starting the economy once there was an all clear from public health officials. That's according to sources familiar with the call, and that's what Adrian Wojnarowski is reporting on, which pretty much means that they're not going to continue basketball and allowing fans in the stadium. I don't know about continuing the NBA season, but they're not going to allow fans to show up in a stadium and put other people's health at risk without a okay from public health officials. So we're not going to be able to go to any basketball games for the time being, but the fate of the NBA season is still unclear. We do not know if the NBA is going to try to figure out a way to play out the rest of the season in that Las Vegas stadium, in that neutral site that they once hinted at. And we don't know any further about the direction the NBA is going to take. If you ask me, I don't believe that the NBA has concluded that they have to cancel the NBA season. Rather, I believe that they're just planning ahead. They're planning for both scenarios. You see, last week they were planning on what they would do and how they would resume the season. How could they continue to play without having fans in the stands? Where would they play out the remainder of the season? Where would they play the playoffs? How would they figure out who's playing in the playoffs despite taking so much time off? And they took some time to figure that out. Now, I believe that they're taking some time to figure out what they would do if the NBA season got canceled, because a lot of complications would happen. You have to understand that players, like star players, would have to take pay cuts, and you're going to have to pay the employees that aren't stars. You have to pay a bunch of people that typically could not live unless if they got their paycheck. So they have to figure out both sides of the spectrum, because like this report says from Adam Schefter, it is extremely unclear about how we're going to proceed forward and where we're going to be in a couple months from now. I want you guys to remember that literally when this NBA season got suspended on March 11th, a lot of us thought it was only going to be suspended for 2 to 3 weeks. Now I think this is going to go on for 2 to 3 months, and even that's not sure. So if you're the commissioner of a major sports league, you have to plan for both sides. Guys, I hope we get some more positive news. I miss basketball as much as you guys do. If you guys want to talk to me about this a little bit more, I'm going to be live streaming on Twitch later on today. I'm your boy, TheFlightMike, and hopefully we get basketball back soon, man.